Well, I got to tell you, I'm really honored to be the presenting sponsor this year for Tall City Blues Fest. I got involved early on in the process, and honestly, I couldn't find another event that I thought brought so much quality music to this town. Every year there's 15 to 20 acts, but it's not just the volume of talent. As I've started playing a little guitar, in my closet, as they say, I've really found that there's a ton of talent out there, and Lisa and Ron have done a fantastic job of bringing that talent to Midland, and I couldn't find another venue that I would be as proud to sponsor as Tall City Blues Fest. Yeah, I know starting any festival this size, a lot of times, it's a rocky start in the beginning, and as my relationship with Lisa evolved with the event, and I got involved with her actually on an advisory committee, it made a big impact that the festival is viable. The whole AC/DC song "Back in Black" is really kind of this year's motto, I think, for the festival, and it wasn't an impacting decision for me because I wanted the event to be viable, and I wanted to make sure it endured, and it's there now, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, it's definitely not any secret that we have had our share of challenges getting Tall City Blues Fest off the ground, and we've done a lot of things right. We also did a whole lot wrong, and we've learned and we've grown from that, and we're very fortunate to have been launching this festival in a community that's full of maverick-minded people that said, we want to see this thing happen no matter what.
Well, I'll tell you what, I started out as a volunteer, and I loved it. There's so much wonderful energy, and the people are so happy singing the blues. Yeah, they're happy singing the blues. So why not support that monetarily? So that's what we decided to do. And I'm thrilled to have a festival like that in our community because it connects us together in a fun-loving environment. And yes, in the middle of the summer, but I tell you what, we get the best weather.
Well, I mean, it serves to be a vessel to create some continuity, brings young people in, educates them about a musical genre that maybe they wouldn't be exposed to otherwise. That's important to an education in music, and so much of what's created nowadays is electronic, digital pablum, if you will, and blues tends to be a very personal, people-created music. For that reason, I think it's really important for the kids to have some exposure to that because they don't see it normally in what they're exposed to, on a daily basis. So I think that's important.
Yep, I'm kind of busted there. Besides being presenting sponsor, I'm also a festival founder. The festival founder deal for me is there's only 100 spots, and let's face it, we all have a little ego. And, what a great event to be able to say, 50 years from now that you were one of 100 people that helped contribute to the success of something as great as bringing, all of these blues musicians to Midland, Texas every year.
Actually, it might be a more true statement to say that the blues chose us than it would be that we chose the blues. Because there's a lot in the blues. The blues is the soundtrack of our history, both good and bad. It's a fantastic metaphor for our daily lives that we live, and it's got victory and triumph in it, and it's got heartbreak and loss. And what we really want to do with our work is to we want to create connections, we want to inspire people to collaborate and to connect, and we feel like the blues is a really great way to do that in West Texas.
The economic impact of Tall City Blues Fest, we calculate that by the number of heads that are sleeping in the beds, the food that's eaten in our town, number of people that come through here. And since the inception of Tall City Blues Fest, we've generated nearly $500,000 and that's a large impact for the city. And we just want this festival to stay here and continue to be down at Centennial Plaza.
Midland never had this type of thing, so when you put great music out there, when you have a great event that takes a whole weekend, it gives people a reason to go out and to see what the rest of the world sees.
Not only is it important for Midland because, as the community's grown, and part of the music, I'm a big supporter of live music, and that's where it started. And I actually think blues are an American treasure, and the roots that it has in Texas really made it an honor for me to be able to be involved and help get a festival like this started in Midland. So it was really a dual purpose. Not only did it personally satisfy me, but my company's happy to be a spotlight sponsor.
Well, I chose to plug in as a founder. And really, when I was on the city council, I got involved with the Tall City Blues Fest in order to help them find a location, in order to have a place, a big enough venue where we could bring in lots of different bands. And I think it's a quality of life issue for the citizens here. It gives us a little more diversity of things to do, because people are always looking for things to do. And I think by having the Tall City Blues Fest here in Midland, in downtown Midland especially, it gives us something to do on a great weekend, and I'm just excited to be a sponsor of this and a co-sponsor of the Tall City Blues Fest, because I do think it's important to Midland. And Lisa, she's very energetic and very convincing, and I've seen the Blues Fest really from its infancy start out. It was a little maybe tough going at the beginning, but she's turned the corner. This thing is a very stable organization, and I think that the Blues Fest is going to be here for a long time to come, and I think all of Midlanders are going to enjoy coming down and watching some of the great bands that she's put together this year.
The short answer is no. It's very important to us to contribute to our community, and we feel like nonprofit status should really be reserved for people with a cause. And we see Tall City Blues Fest as a piece of the bigger picture. And so actually our hope is that other people will come along and water the seeds that we've planted and start doing things like maybe starting a blues society, or taking blues into the schools, or hosting jams where people can get together and collaborate. I mean, that type of thing. Well, we actually do several things. For one, we commission an artist every year for $1,000 as part of our featured artist program. And what we commission these artists to do is to design the commemorative poster for this year's festival, and also the cover art on the festival guide. We also hold a silent art auction where participating artists get 70% of the proceeds from the sale of their art. And in partnership with Midland College, on Saturday of the fest, we host educational workshops, which Rebecca can tell you more about.
The partnership that Midland College has with Tall City Blues Fest is a great one. Actually, the workshops that Tall City Blues Fest puts on for children and adults, Midland College partners with that, and then all the proceeds go to benefit our Kids College Scholarship. And some of the great workshops that are put on Saturday at Tall City Blues Fest include harmonica, cigar box guitar, acoustic blues, vocals, and even a diddly bow workshop. Over the past 3 years, the Tall City Blues Fest has contributed over $4,000 in scholarships to Midland College Kids College, which is so greatly appreciated. There are so many children in Midland that can't afford to go to Kids College, and so this enables them to have a little fun during the summer.